Mike, just in. Water is wet. The Earth rotates around the sun. And Mark McGwire admits he takes steroids.
I'm sitting here and I'm stunned.
It's like, yes, if you get punched in the groin, it hurts. Can we ask something a little bit more obvious here, folks?
Right.
We knew for the longest time. And what bothers me about this is when the man finally admitted to something we already knew, he didn't seem to be totally being truthful about it. He seems to be not really in reality yet about what the performance-enhancing substances he took did for his career, especially in 1998.
Assuming that this was calculated, that this admission was calculated, which I think it clearly was, and I'm not blaming him for that. He's going to be the hitting coach of the St. Louis Cardinals. So get this out of the way before we start spring training, right?
Understand.
It came right after he got 20-some% of the vote for the Hall of Fame. So
75%.
Yeah. So I mean, in a lot of ways, I thought it was calculated, and that's fine. But if it's calculated, then why are you going to pretend that it didn't impact your stats? Why are you going to pretend that it didn't, that you didn't do it for the reasons that you obviously did do it? I just don't understand why these guys, if they're going to apologize, can't really apologize.
Exactly. I'm sort of saying I'm sorry. The other thing was interesting timing was 5 years ago was the whole congressional hearing. He's now free of indictment because 5 years have passed.
Sure.
So now is when he comes out with it. Very interesting timing as well. He says he waited because he didn't want to hurt his family. How about the families of all the people he affected with his career? The guys on the media were mentioning Wally Joyner because they paralleled their careers, and Joyner didn't get all the accolades of what McGwire did. But how about pitchers that maybe were marginal pitchers, and he hit home runs off of them and so forth? So, what bothers me is he doesn't think performance-enhancing drugs helped his career. And I'm going to ask you the question. If he never took steroids, Mike, would he have broken Roger Maris's record?
No.
And would he have been as good? I'm not done yet.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Would he be as good as Babe Ruth? You've already answered the first one.
No, he would not have. He was in the maybe Cecil Fielder class of players.
Okay.
I think maybe the
parallel for a while.
I think maybe Harmon Killebrew would be like the very upper ceiling of that, and I don't think he would have been that without performance enhancing, even if the only reason to do it is injury recovery. And maybe it's not the most morally abhorrent thing in the world to take this stuff for that reason, but still, it is what it is, and let's say what it is.
What gets you look at the examples that you mentioned there. He was injured. He was battling for Fielder with 48 home runs for a while, but he kept getting hurt. He says he took him to help him with the injuries. Ian Ratcliffe, you still owe me $50. I should have won that bet. 1998, he would not have stayed healthy and broke Maris's record if it wasn't for taking the drugs. He's even admitted it. The only way I could stay healthy was taking these steroids. What bothers me is he could never have stayed healthy if he didn't take it. So don't say that you're as good as the top players.
And even the first couple of years that he took them, he still was injury plagued.
He still was injury plagued.
So that couldn't have been the only reason you were taking them, right?
Yeah. You made a comment to me. Those home run balls that would have maybe been at the warning track.
Yeah, that's the difference. I mean, you hear. I heard Mitch Williams on the radio this morning say that you can't say that it you still have to hit the ball solid, is what his point was. No matter how strong you are, you have to hit the ball solid to hit a home run. Every time I gave up a home run, it was a mistake, so on and so forth. Well, even if you hit the ball solid, some guys are going to hit the fly ball to the warning track that, with a little bit of extra juice, becomes a home run. That's the difference we're obviously talking about. We're not talking about a difference in hand-eye coordination. We're talking about a little bit of extra difference in power and the way that manifests itself.
Would you put him in the Hall of Fame? Is he a Hall of Fame player?
He's a Hall of Fame player, I think, based on a strict objective read of his numbers. Would you? That's a really tough call, and I'm not sure about that, and it isn't the final verdict, but right now I would say no.
The whole era, I put all those guys that played during the 90s, I put an asterisk next to them, said played in the steroid era.